Okay, guys, let's get into it. Here's the thing. I don't want to waste your time with a bunch of stuff you can Google, but I do want to set you up for success and give you a very realistic idea and understanding about how the different parts of this business are going to work. So let's get through a couple basics, focusing mainly though on your money. So, POD, print on demand. As a concept, what do you need to know? You don't have to hold any inventory. So we're working with fulfillment partners. So when someone orders something from your store, that order information goes to your fulfillment partner. They create the product and send it direct to the customer. So what is actually our job? It's going to be design and marketing. So that's something I really encourage you to keep in the forefront of your mind right now from the beginning, is that you're a designer and you're a marketer, right? That's how this business works. How are we going to do it? What are the ways we can do it that we're going to talk about it in this course? Primarily focusing on Etsy, Shopify, and Amazon. And the most important piece of this intro spiel is understanding your COGS. So COGS stands for cost of goods. So let's kind of break down some of this a little bit. So when we think of print on demand, a lot of people think of apparel and mugs first. My main Etsy store where I have had my most success with print on demand has actually been with jewelry. And one of the reasons why that's going to be the primary focus of this course is money. So we're going to kind of break down realistically what the money in, money out is going to look like at a beginner level. Now, this is another piece of context that I think is important to kind of plant the seed in your mind now. Cost of goods change as your business evolves. So as a beginner, the things that we can access are likely more expensive. As you progress, you have more options because you have proven products and capital to work with other fulfillment partners, or you're working at a bulk level where your cost of goods is cheaper. So the money changes, but I want to give you a realistic expectations as a beginner of what that's going to look like. So apparel, mugs, and the margins, right? We need to think about our profit margin here. So let's kind of break down some of this. So with apparel, beginner COGS probably going to be about $10 for the purchase of the printed t-shirt, and then maybe about another $4 to ship. Mugs, you're looking at a little less than that. I also gave you an example from Shine On, which is the fulfillment partner that I use for jewelry, for their most popular necklace, the Love Knot necklace. So this is the cost of goods on the standard box. There's an option where you get like a luxury box, which is more expensive, but has a higher perceived value, so you charge more. But just as an example, we're looking at about $14 plus another like $5 shipping and some change. Another piece to this is also fees. So if we're looking at just Etsy fees alone, let's get a little bit of context on how this works. So you've got a listing fee, 20 cents every time you list an item. Every time that item renews, so whenever you make a sale, that listing auto renews, another 20 cents. Not a big deal, but something to keep in mind. If you have 9,000 products on your store, it starts to add up. So with Etsy fees, this can be a little bit confusing when you Google like what portion of the sale does Etsy take out or something like that. You might see the number 6.5%, but realistically it's actually 3 different fees on top of each other, which usually comes out to about 14% if we're selling from the US. If we break this down, what that kind of looks like on a $10 sale, you're paying about $1.40 for that sale. So let's run some numbers on some example products. So we talked about apparel, mugs, and some jewelry, right? So let's look at what some of the competitor pricing is like for something on Etsy. So here's some print on demand t-shirts. Look at these price points, right? So like some of them are under $10. Now, a lot of these stores are likely dealing with a different level of cost of goods. They might be self-fulfilling. They may be purchasing these in bulk ahead of time. There are a lot of reasons that go into why they can offer this kind of competitive pricing, but if you are just starting a apparel print-on-demand store and you're using just like those beginner prices from a service like Printful, it's going to be really difficult to compete with this. The way that you mitigate that is by going after niches where there's less competition. But if we're trying to make some decisions about how we want to set up our business and how we want to spend our time, I want you to have this information, right? Now, if we're looking at something like mugs, again, not super impressive price points here, like $15, maybe $20, aside from some of these that are like actual ceramics that are made by an artist. But most of these print-on-demand products, the price point's pretty low. Now, once we start looking into message card jewelry, price goes up significantly. So let's run a couple numbers together. We're going to use a calculator because I would not put anyone through me trying to do math in my head. So let's say we've got a t-shirt up. We're going to sell this t-shirt for $20, right? So Etsy's going to take 14% of this. So let's see what that is. Etsy's going to take $2.80. So we sold it for $20. Now we're out $2.80 from Etsy. And we've got to think about our cost of goods. And we need to think about the cost of shipping. Because we're likely offering free shipping because we want to be more competitive than the other sellers. So we've made $3 on that sale. That's pretty rough. You can imagine it's likely the same with mugs. Now let's think about a necklace. Okay, let's say we sell a necklace on Etsy for $48. So Etsy's going to want their 14%, which is going to be about $6.70. So we sold it for $48. We're out $6.70. We're out another $14.40 for the cost of the necklace, and then we're out $5.37 for shipping. We've made $20. Now, those are margins that I feel good about. So that is why we're going to focus primarily on print-on-demand jewelry. I am going to go through and teach you guys how to do other print-on-demand because it is not, there's still merit to this. I'm not saying don't start a t-shirt business, don't start a mug business, but if we're thinking about where we want to spend our time, I want you guys to make money. So let's sell some jewelry.